The moment her friend said it, the music didn't just fade, it shattered. The laughter, the clinking glasses, the soft golden lights hanging above us, all of it seemed to collapse into a single suffocating silence inside my chest. I stood there, frozen, watching my wife smile at another man like I had become invisible, like years of love had quietly expired without me even noticing. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the fragile beauty of love, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because stories like this remind us what truly matters. The party was supposed to be a celebration. It was held in a sprawling backyard in Austin, Texas, filled with polished strangers, old friends, and that effortless charm people carry when everything in life appears perfect from the outside. My name is Nathan, and from the outside, my life looked perfect too. A stable career, a beautiful home, and a wife, Vanessa, who once made me believe in forever. But that night, something felt off from the moment we arrived. Vanessa didn't hold my hand like she used to. She walked slightly ahead of me, her laughter louder, her smile sharper, like she was trying to prove something or escape something. I tried to brush it off. Maybe she was just excited, I told myself. Maybe I was overthinking. But then I noticed the way she leaned into conversations with other men, how her eyes lingered just a second too long. How her touch, once reserved only for me, was suddenly something she offered freely. Each small moment felt like a quiet crack forming in the foundation of our marriage. I stayed calm. I smiled when I had to. I greeted people. I even laughed. But inside I was unraveling. And then came the moment that changed everything. Vanessa was standing near the bar, her hand resting lightly on the arm of a man I didn't recognize. Her friend Claire stood beside her, watching with an amused expression. I was just close enough to hear it when Claire leaned in and said with a playful smirk that didn't feel playful at all, "Your turn's over. He's with me now." The words hit me like a slap I never saw coming. Vanessa laughed, not nervously, not awkwardly at all, but genuinely, as if it was all a game. That laugh broke something inside me. In that instant, I wasn't angry. I wasn't even shocked. I was just empty, like I had been slowly disappearing from her life, and this was the moment the illusion finally dropped. I walked away without saying a word. The night air outside was cooler, quieter. I stood there alone, staring at the distant glow of the city lights, trying to piece together how we had gotten here. Just a few years ago, Vanessa used to look at me like I was her whole world. We used to talk for hours about everything and nothing. We used to believe we were different, that we would never become one of those couples who drift apart without realizing it. But life has a way of testing promises. Work got busier. Conversations got shorter. Silences got longer. And somewhere along the way, we stopped choosing each other. I heard the door open behind me, but I didn't turn around immediately. I already knew it was her. She stood a few feet away, hesitant, as if unsure whether she still had the right to approach me. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. When I finally turned, I saw something in her eyes I hadn't seen all night: uncertainty, maybe even fear, but I didn't feel relief. I didn't feel anger. I just felt tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes, but the kind that comes from holding on to something that's already slipping away. We stood there, two people who once couldn't imagine life without each other, now struggling to even look at one another. And in that silence, I realized something painful but necessary. Love doesn't disappear all at once. It fades quietly, in the small moments we ignore, in the conversations we avoid, in the distance we pretend isn't growing. That night, I didn't shout. I didn't accuse. I didn't beg. I simply told her the truth. I told her that I felt invisible, that I had been trying to hold us together while she seemed to be letting go, that watching her flirt like that didn't just hurt, it made me realize how far we had drifted. She didn't interrupt. She didn't defend herself. She just listened. And then, for the first time in a long time, she cried. Not the kind of tears meant to manipulate or excuse, but the kind that come from finally facing something you've been avoiding. She admitted she had been feeling lost, that she didn't recognize herself anymore, that somewhere along the way she stopped feeling seen, not just by me, but by herself. It wasn't an excuse, but it was honest, and sometimes, honesty is the first step back from the edge. We didn't fix everything that night. Real life doesn't work like that. There was no dramatic reconciliation, no perfect resolution, but there was something important. There was truth. And sometimes, truth is where healing begins. In the weeks that followed, things were different. Not magically better, but real. We talked more. Not just about the surface things, but about the hard, uncomfortable truths we had been avoiding. We faced the distance instead of pretending it wasn't there. Some days were harder than others. There were moments of doubt, moments where it felt easier to walk away. But there were also moments, small, quiet moments, where it felt like we were finding each other again. Not the same way we used to, but in a deeper, more honest way. Before we reach the end, I have a special request for you. Comment below with one word: hope. If you believe relationships can be rebuilt, even after they feel broken. Because here's the truth most people don't talk about. Love isn't just about the good moments. It's about what you do when things fall apart. It's about whether you choose to walk away or stay and rebuild, piece by piece. Months later, we returned to that same backyard, not for a party, but for a quiet gathering with close friends. The lights were still there, glowing softly in the night, but this time, everything felt different. Vanessa stood beside me, her hand gently holding mine, not out of habit, but out of choice. And for the first time in a long time, I felt seen again. Not because everything was perfect, but because we were finally being real. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of something you've been through or something you're still fighting for, take a moment to like, comment, and share. You never know who might need to hear this today, because sometimes the moment that breaks you is the same moment that gives you a chance to begin again.